Here's the truth. People's attention spans are shot. We all know it. We're competing with phones, packed calendars, miles-long to-do lists, and a dopamine hit of our next notification. So if we really want a message to land, if we want it to actually stick, we have to help people listen. That's right. It's your job to help people listen. How? By using what we call oral highlighting.
Welcome to the BetterCulture Podcast, where we make the clear connection between better culture and better business. This podcast is for leaders who want to build stronger teams, drive thriving companies, and enjoy your leadership role along the way. Now here's your host, Brett Hoogeveen, a leadership and culture aficionado, keynote speaker, and co-founder of BetterCulture.
All right, friends, you're going to want to really lean in for this FastBlast episode. Today we're covering one of the simplest and most effective pieces of leadership advice I've ever been given. We call it oral highlighting. Here's the deal. At times, most people are lousy, or at least lazy listeners. They don't mean to be, but they are. You know the scene. You're 45 minutes into a drawn-out meeting with 8 of your colleagues. Let's say the topic is less than scintillating. Whoever is leading the meeting finally changes pace and says, "Okay, does that make sense? Any questions?" You look around, everyone's nodding. They're smiling a bit, but inside their brain, they're not 100% sure what they're agreeing to. Just a few moments ago, they were trying to decide between tacos or a salad for lunch. Here's the truth. People's attention spans are shot. We all know it. We're competing with phones, packed calendars, miles-long to-do lists, and a dopamine hit of our next notification. So if we really want a message to land, if we want it to actually stick, we have to help people listen. That's right. It's your job to help people listen. How? By using what we call oral highlighting. Think of it like a verbal highlighter pen. You don't highlight every sentence of a book, right? You highlight the big ideas, the pay attention here moments. Same with your communication. When you hit something important, you signal it out loud. Let me give you an example. Imagine I'm leading a team meeting. I could say, "Okay, everyone, here's the plan for the quarter." Or I could say, "Team, this next step is the single most important thing we can do to hit our quarterly goals." See the difference? One is background noise. The other makes people perk up. Here's another example. You're coaching someone and you say, "All right, let's talk about feedback." Meh, fine. But what if you said, "I'm about to share the one mindset shift about feedback that separates good leaders from great ones." Boom. Now you've got their attention. You've set the stage. They're leaning in. And here's the funny thing. Once you start listening for this technique, you'll notice how rarely people actually use it. I was at a conference recently. 3 speakers back to back. The first 2, pretty good content, but it was just kind of washing over the audience. Nobody knew when to perk up. Then the 3rd speaker gets up and says, "Friends, I want you to circle this next idea in your brain. If you miss everything else, don't miss this." And you could feel the whole room sit up straighter. Pens came out. People typed notes into their phone. Why? Because he told them, this matters. If you want to get actual practical examples of how to use oral highlighting, pay attention right now. See what I did there? Let's get practical. Here are some oral highlighting phrases that you can steal right now. First one, this next point is vital to your success. Another, here's where most people stumble. Another, let me give you the one tool I'd use if I could only pick one. Here's the big mistake I see over and over again. Or this is the insight your future self will thank you for remembering. And my personal favorite, write this down. That one never fails. People scramble for a pen. Even if they don't actually write it down, their brain pays attention in a different way. Now, let's tie this to listening, because remember, communication is a 2-player game. Your job as the speaker isn't just to push words out. It's to make it easy for the other person to be a good listener. Picture this. A manager gives 5 minutes of instruction to their team. At the end, they say, "So, any questions?" Everyone nods silently. You know what that means, right? It means they're still wondering if they should get tacos or salad. But what if the manager said out loud, "Okay, team, out of everything I just shared, here's the single detail that makes or breaks the project. Make sure this one sticks." Now you've just done the work for them. You've circled the idea in neon yellow. Here's a quick personal story. I once sat in a training session where the facilitator said, "I'm going to share 3 mistakes that almost every leader makes. If you can just avoid mistake number 2, you'll already be ahead of 90% of the leaders I've worked with." Guess what happened when she got to mistake number 2? Everyone leaned in. You could feel the energy shift in the room. And here's the funny part. I don't remember mistakes 1 or 3, but I still remember what she said for mistake number 2 because she highlighted it. See how that works? Now, let's have some fun. Imagine you're telling your kids something important, like, "Hey, don't forget to feed the dog." Yeah, right, they're distracted. That's going in one ear and out the other. But what if you said, "Hey, listen up. If you forget this next thing, our dog might starve tonight." Okay, maybe that's dramatic, but you get the point. The phrasing signals importance. It breaks through the clutter. So let me highlight something for you. If you want your ideas to be remembered, respected, and repeated, you have to do more than just say them. You have to highlight them because words matter, but highlighted words, they echo. So try this. In your next conversation, your next team huddle, your next presentation, practice dropping in 1 or 2 oral highlighting phrases. Watch how people react. Notice how they suddenly lean in. See how your words stick. Because here's the truth. Leaders aren't just judged by what they say. They're judged by what people remember. And that's why oral highlighting isn't just a speaking trick. It's a leadership superpower. All right, friends, I've got one last highlight for you. If you want to be a great leader, make it easy for people to listen. Don't just hope your message lands. Help it land. Highlight it. As always, please use this new leadership and communication tool to build something even better today. Want to take the next step to building a stronger culture? We're offering a free 15-minute BetterCulture strategy call directly with me. We'll take the time to help you identify real opportunities to make your workplace better. No sales pitch, just real advice to help you lead better. Grab your time right now at betterculture.com/free call. Let's make something even better together.